The sun had long since set on the grand city of Babylon, casting a golden glow over its towering ziggurats and bustling streets. The air was alive with the sounds of merchants. The king, once a just and fair ruler, had grown increasingly obsessed with the gods and the stars. He spent most of his days poring over ancient texts and seeking the counsel of priests and astronomers. His son, Belshazzar, had taken on more and more responsibilities as the king's obsession grew. He was a young man, barely out of his teenage years, and a strong sense of justice. As the night wore on, a messenger arrived at the palace, bearing news from the front lines. The Persian army, led by the cunning and ruthless King Cyrus, had breached the defenses of the city of Opis. Belshazzar knew that this was a disaster. Without Opis, the road to Babylon lay open, and the city was not prepared to withstand a siege. He urged his father to take action. Instead, he ordered a great feast to be prepared, a feast to rival all others. The tables would be laden with food and drink, and the city's finest musicians and dancers would perform for the entertainment of the guests. As the night of the feast arrived, the city was abuzz with excitement. The streets were filled with people, all eager to catch a glimpse of the king and his son, and to join in the revelry. But Belshazzar could not shake the feeling of unease that had been growing inside him. As the feast began, a strange and ominous sign appeared in the sky. A comet, bright and fiery, streaked across the horizon, casting a pale glow over the city. The king, deep in his cups, laughed and declared that it was a sign of the gods' favor, but Belshazzar knew better. He knew that the comet was a warning, a sign that the gods were angry and that the city was about to face a great and terrible reckoning. He tried to warn his father, but the king would not listen. A loud crash of thunder boomed outside, and the lights in the palace began to flicker. The king, still laughing and drinking, did not notice, but Belshazzar felt a chill run down his spine. He rose from his seat and made his way to the balcony, where he looked out over the city. The streets were empty and silent. The only sound, the distant rumble of thunder. And then he saw it, a great army stretching out as far as the eye could see, its tents and campfires glittering like stars in the darkness. The Persians had arrived, and Babylon was doomed. Over the next few days, the city was besieged, its walls breached, and its people slaughtered. The king, still convinced that the gods would save him, hid in his palace, refusing to surrender. But Belshazzar knew that it was too late. As the Persians poured into the city, Belshazzar made his way to the temple, where he prayed to the gods for forgiveness. He knew that he had failed to save his city. He knew that the fall of Babylon was not just the end of a city, but the end of an era. The gods had turned against them, and the empire would never rise again. The story of the fall of Babylon would be told and retold for generations to come.